Rachel Thexton here of Rachel Thexton Connects. Today I'm presenting an episode with Indigenous artist, graffiti artist, and many other types of art, and co-founder of Miska Creative Society, Jesse Gouchey. He is joined by legendary graffiti artist and advocate, Smokey Devil. I had the opportunity to sit down with these two amazing humans and discuss a variety of topics that you do not want to miss. I was also humbled to have the opportunity to hear more about Trey Helten, a superhero of the downtown Eastside that the community lost recently due to medical issues. The episode is one that you won't forget, and it's our first in-person podcast episode. I present to you Jesse Gouchey and Smokey Devil on Rachel Thexton Connects.
Thanks.
So welcome, Jesse, Smokey. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having
being
us.
on the podcast.
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Great to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to start off by let's jump into graffiti. Okay, because there's people that have this view of graffiti. It's vandalism, it's tagging, there's no value in it. Clearly, that's not true.
No, there's different levels of graffiti, right?
So let me ask you, Smokey, what do you see graffiti
Be kind and
as,
truly connect. You're
how'd you
listening
get
to
into it?
Rachel
It's
Thexton
it's
Connects.
getting more commercial. It's more socially acceptable than it used to be, right? Before it was like all gang stuff and that, like or whatever. But now it's become more of an art form than anything else. It's like a lot. You see a lot of it in galleries and stuff like that, and like you see it on TV, you see it all over the place, right? And there's a lot of people that are known more just like us. We know as artists, not like just taggers or whatever. There's all different levels of graffiti. There's like guys that just go to destroy the city, just do tags and tags all over the place just to vandalize shit or stuff. And then there's people that do art like us, like photorealism or whatever, or memorials and all that. And
Well, you were recognized by Vancouver City Hall.
yeah.
So that says something about how people are starting to see graffiti, I
I
suppose.
got my own day.
Yeah. How did you feel about that?
I was pretty honored by that, you know. I mean, like it went like David Suzuki and then me, so that's pretty good. That's quite the jump, eh?
Very
So
cool.
yeah, it was wild. And I said to them when I was there, I said, I accept this award not just for me, but for everybody that's ever been down here, down east side or whatever, and artists all about. It's just to get away from the stereotypes that we're all bad and everything else, and that we're all horrible people, which is far from the truth, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're trying to change things and get things going, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jesse, you have a T-shirt on, has a spray can on the
Yeah.
front of it for Miska Creative Society. I want to talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But talk to me about what graffiti means to you and how you got involved.
I mean, without graffiti, I probably wouldn't be doing art right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, graffiti was what led to me to what I do today and what I do for a living. So, it all started with the tagging, and just kind of getting up in my little hometown, and just we had our little crew of I don't know, there wasn't too many of us, maybe about 5 or 6, and we just we just hit a lot of dumpsters and hit a lot of back alleys and things like that. But that transformed into the realism kind of painting that I do now. And I still do a few tags here and there, but not the graffiti writer I once was.
Well, you're kidding now, buddy.
I want to ask you, Jesse, about your artistic roots. Did you always know that you kind of wanted to get into art? You are a descendant of the Papa's Chase First Nation. Mm-hmm. Pronouncing that right?
Yeah, you bet.
And self-taught, except for recently studying with Vancouver Film School animation. Yeah. So did you always know art was a thing for you since being small?
Yeah, like I always knew that I was, creative, and I always, I've been drawing since I was able to hold a pencil, and I didn't really think it was gonna become my job, or I was gonna end up being like an art teacher of sorts, and but I always knew that I was creative, and I always kind of like in school, every like class was going on and I was doodling and I was drawing on the sides of my, all of the pages and whatnot. And
Yeah.
art class is what I look forward to the most. So it was just.
It's always been in you.
Yeah, it's always been in me. And yeah, my older brother and younger sister, they like to draw too when we were young. So we just kind of feed off each other and try and outdo each other. And yeah, and it was kind of like whatever was going on at the time was what I was drawing. It was like, when I was a young kid, I was really into hockey. So I would draw all the goalies and stuff and draw them with their, their sick glove sleeves and their pads and all that. And
that's cool.
And then, as I got older, it became into like skateboarding and, music, and I really liked, typography and logos and, things like that. So.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on a topic that, it's sad to speak of, but at the same time, it's kind of, there's happy parts of this, and I think it needs to be discussed, and that's the legend of Trey Helten. And you both knew him, were friends with him, close to him. He passed unexpectedly, tragically, recently due to medical issues.
Yeah.
Smokey, what did Trey mean to you? What did he mean to the community?
Well, he was huge. He was like huge, man. He's bigger than we thought. Like he was constantly helping people, man. Like he saved a lot of people. That saved a lot of people. That saved a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like the domino effect kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was steady, like helping other people, and never really doing his own thing for himself. But he was a lot of things. He was a punk rocker guy. He was like all that. And graffiti was what helped him stay clean and that. And when he got down here, because he had 7 years deep down or whatever. And he helped keep me like out of trouble too, right? Like, I don't go to jail anymore or anything like that and stuff. But I mean, him and I, we were partners for a long time, and with you too, right?
Yeah.
Like he introduced us to, like basically how we got to meet, right?
Totally.
And he got a lot of people together. Like he was a big advocate too, right? And through his work and that ops and stuff, that's how we met a lot of people. And he was a big part of my life, and he still is, always will be, right? Like I think about it all the time, like every day, like. Right, when I wake up, it's weird not having him around, right? It trips me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never thought, I honestly, to tell you the truth, I always thought I would die before he did,
Yeah.
Because I lived a crazier life than he may have, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And he was always like, Smokey, you gotta calm down, and you gotta calm down a bit and start, and you have some boundaries and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I would for a while, but then I just go back around. And he'd get upset, but then, and then I went away. He said, oh, he's never going to leave down here and stuff. And he was upset, but then I ended up going to Bangkok and stuff, and got a wider perspective on life and stuff and that. And, yeah, so it was all good. He just wanted good things for me, that's all, right?
Yeah. He loved you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And at times, you'd be like, oh, man, just give it a break, but it was only because he loved me and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
I just miss him, and I wish he was around still, right?
Yeah, you miss him bothering you.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. You did a mural.
Yeah, across the street, we both did, yeah.
We're going to show that to the viewers so they can see it.
Yeah, I painted a few of them, and now, as we said, we talked about the alley or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
The alley is now known as Ashtray Alley, right? It's cool, and it's going to have a big plaque put in it, like for life. The guys from Icon Hip Hop there. Amazing. He was like a metal worker, so he's going to make a huge plaque and put all the ashtray in there and stuff like that.
Nice.
And yeah, if you ever have a chance, go down the alley and check it out. In the new alley, it's all done up for him, the whole things like grow up.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I think for those who didn't know Trey, I was an acquaintance of his. He would help anyone at any time. I've heard stories from former guest Sarah Blythe and others about him being up in the middle of the night, taking people to detox, visiting people in hospital. That's the kind of person that he was, from what I understand. Selfless, yeah, exactly. What about you, Jesse? You also created, and we'll show the viewers, an amazing mural in his honor. What did Trey mean to you?
Well, Trey just opened so many doors for me, and he just from the moment I met him, I I was introduced by a friend to paint a mural on the old OPS just over on Carroll and Abbott there, and he's like, "Oh, like, can you paint or whatever?" Like right when I met him, and he was this big giant dude with a bright green mohawk and totally punked out with like spikes on his vest and whatnot. And I was just like, "Whoa, wow, this guy's intense." And then he's just and then he's like, people are asking him, what could like for things to do or else, for help or whatever. And you're just walking down the street and everybody knows him and everybody's, "Hey, Trey," and everybody's, he knows everybody by name, and he knows, like, he was just such a force of just positive energy. And I mean, the amount of people he introduced me to, we'd just be hanging out and he'd be like, "You got to meet this guy and this guy and this guy," because he knew I was new to town. And I mean, the amount of people I met through him and the amount of relationships I made, like, for not only myself but for my organization, like, he is part of the reason why it got off the ground the way it did. And he was actually in my very first workshop that we did, that I think your sons were in. Yeah. So I owe that guy. I could feel like I could never repay him for what he's done for me. And he, I'll just leave it there. But what a solid person. And when you're with him, you just knew you were like among greatness and among like just somebody that really made a difference. So pretty epic dude.
Yeah, it's all I hear, that type of feedback about him. And my little experience was similar. I think it's interesting that we're in the downtown Eastside here at the Overdose Prevention Society. We are with a legendary graffiti artist in two. And you two are also advocates, teachers, doing so much for the community. I think that gets lost sometime in the downtown Eastside story. Those types of dialogues tend to kind of fall underneath the sensational news. So I just want to talk for a minute. Smokey, your advocacy work. People consider you an advocate. What do you think of that? And what would you say you fight for?
I fight for all of us, for people that don't have a voice, you know what I mean? Like, just to get some things out there that people might not know about or anything, because there's no TVs, that people don't know a lot of TVs and stuff like that down here. You don't know what the real story is, and then they get all these things. So I try to put things out there for missing people, or like people that passed away or whatever, or just things that mean something, right? Not so much just like my name over and over, right? I do like a lot of like stuff that means something, right? You know what I mean? Or a person or whatever. So, and that last one, the day that Ashtray died or whatever, was the day that we did that one about the old man that got beaten to death down the street by 3 guys or whatever. So we painted. I read about that in the paper, and we did a thing called elder abuse down the street. And painted it, said this isn't acceptable and stuff like that, and how people should be respected and not afraid to walk in their own neighborhood, That's terrible, So we do stuff like that, and if good things happen in the neighborhood, I try to not make it all negative stuff. I make it all happier stuff. I make people try and feel like they're not alone. And things like Christmas Day, or they don't feel alone and stuff. There's a whole bunch of us around, that kind of thing. Or whatever, some kind of like people have come to me and said, "Hey, I need this done." Like even the cities come to me and stuff like that, and say like, "Can you please paint this picture about this?" Because probably just put up like a writing on a paper about it, no one will stop and look and read it. But if you paint it on the wall and that, people will stop and look at it and listen to it, right? So I'm like, okay, and like during COVID and stuff, I did a bunch of that stuff. And then Chinatown there, we did that too, like
meeting with the business owners.
All that anyway, because they were like, at first they were going to make it a hate crime. You're going to turn graffiti into a hate crime. They were going to give some guy 10 years for it and stuff, and I was like, that's ridiculous. So I said to everyone, I said, hey, this is the deal. If you don't like appreciate their culture or whatever, I said, there's a million walls in this town. Like, just try and stay away from these 6 blocks. Just let these people do their own thing. They don't like it or whatever. Just let's get calm down and just go anywhere but, And it's been pretty cleaned up for like 3 or 4 years now, And so I connected up with some Chinatown people, like the business people and all that. And yeah, it's pretty a lot nicer than it was before at one time, right?
Well, it made a difference. I understand that one of the business owners, you did a mural of him.
Yeah.
And he was quite moved by it.
Yeah. And also we did one of the security guard guy that was like 64 years old, and these kids beat him, I think not to death, but they beat him like with a bike. They broke his bones and that. You remember that?
Yeah.
He was a security guard for like 25 years down there, and all the store owners and stuff down there were really upset about it. And so I painted this painting of him and said how like he had to retire early and all this stuff, and thank you for the years that you did this and all that, right?
Oh, I do remember.
And then I was at an art gallery thing at the Chinese Garden down here.
Okay.
And we were doing NFTs and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I felt this hand on my shoulder, and I turned around and looked, it was him. Yeah. We came to a couple other like events. We had like the day of the first time we had a music thing on. You know what was there? Yeah, I was doing, and he was there too. I was like, wow, man. It's pretty cool when you see people like that.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, man. You know.
Yeah, no, it means a lot, and to put that into art, people can see it. Even visitors can see it,
for sure.
and see the downtown Eastside isn't just what's in the headlines, right?
Yeah.
Jesse, I want to ask you about Miska Creative Society. You co-founded this with your sister.
You bet. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool organization. As Jesse alluded to, my sons took part in an art class, and they absolutely loved it. I'm going to quote here, Miska hosts art and mural painting workshops with an Indigenous lens and meets with groups where they already gather to remove barriers for participation. They offer hands-on career and life education by combining artistic instruction from creative professionals with cultural guidance from elders and knowledge keepers. So pretty cool. We have art, we have Indigenous culture, heritage, values, a lot of honor around, various elements. Talk to me about Miska, what your mission is there with your sister.
Well, basically it's to just really inspire creativity, and we really don't have any, there's no specific age group. We'll take our supplies and we'll show up and do the best we can to incorporate some of our background, like as far as our Indigenous background, and then depending on where we go, we try and focus on whatever nation or area or what their history is and their Indigenous roots are, and try and just bring some of that culture to life without stepping on any toes or anything, but doing it in like a respectful way. And we're just trying to really get people to have a creative outlet, and that's kind of the bottom line, is just everybody has an artist in them, and whether you just are the person that can barely do a stick man, or you want to do a big huge thing, we'll try and guide you through every different step of the way, if that's depending on what the media is or medium we're using, or we try, and it's all like visual art, so it's all like painting or drawing or murals or I've taught animation and things like that before. So
your Indigenous roots, do you bring that into your own personal art and into what you do with Miska Creative Society in any way?
Yeah, as much as we can. We'll really try and tell our story. But we didn't really grow up in a really Indigenous kind of world.
Right.
We grew up in small town or small city Red Deer, and when we grew up, there wasn't too many Indigenous people around, and we weren't with. Yeah. Well, especially where we lived on a different side of town and whatever else, and so. And then our Indigenous family lived mostly not in Red Deer, so we just, when we would go and get in touch with our Indigenous side, we called it going up north, and that meant going to this place called Little Smokey, and it was just like this. Yeah, never thought of that. That's funny. But it's just like this little tiny little hamlet. I think there's only just a few little houses there, and then where my family was based was just this one little chunk of land, and there was a few, like there's a trailer and some old like log home kind of thing there, and it was really small, but you know, that's where all of our relatives would go and for like family reunions and whatnot. And that's when we really got a taste of like our Indigenous side. And that was, you know, it wasn't a regular, it was where we'd go with like my dad to go hunting and stuff, and to go and, you know, like we had a couple family reunions out there. So, but yeah, like with Miska, I mean, we're just kind of gaining our Indigenous kind of roots back while we do it as well. So we're learning about our history, and we're learning about other nations' history across, you know, wherever we go. It's really cool in that regard, where we're able to really, you know, discover all these things that we didn't really get to be, that we weren't really raised with.
I've spoken with quite a few guests and colleagues and friends who had similar experiences, not really being exposed to their culture until later in life, and then really valuing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about Ashtray Alley. So Ashtray Alley now officially exists. It's even on Google Maps in honor of Trey Helten. And there's also a something that you and Trey had in mind as a kind of community hub for people to do graffiti art, both to give back, to maybe to make amends if they've made mistakes, things like that. Are you still thinking of pursuing that?
I really would. I just would like to, I would really like to do that. It takes a lot of work these days, like with the city hall and all that stuff, to actually get them to approve it.
Yeah.
I mean, like now we've got like 3 different walls, I think, in the city that are legal. Because they started one up near Commercial Drive up there at Britannia. They got a skate park thing, and we're allowed to do it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a spot now.
Yeah. And,
Sweet.
a couple other ones, I think. But I'd like to start the one just like the old ops, how it was around there like that. That was perfect, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. Like it'd stop the graffiti in the city like by huge, you know?
Yeah.
Because a bunch of people would always like to be there, and it'd be like be a well watched over place. Like there wouldn't be any violence or nothing there. You know what I mean? It'd be all like good. People could learn from each other there, right? Like it'd be a place where everyone could meet and like learn off each other and learn how to do other things too. Like like.
Totally.
Watch DJs and learn how to do silk screening and everything like that. And get to know each other, right? Because it's more of a community thing. Like, there's a lot of people that I've seen their art over, like, for years and years around their city, but I don't know who they are, right?
Yeah.
I like to put a face to the art, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, I know pretty well everyone that does it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the clean lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Clean lines are just different events that we've had, like, because over the years, it's changed a lot, too, like, back when I used to do it, the Beat, remember that radio station?
Yeah.
The Beat, they put on a graffiti thing. That was down near McDonald's on Main Street.
Oh, no way.
Across the street, yeah. There was a big graffiti comp there, like in like 2006 or something like that. And we were what do you call it, judges at it and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
Nice.
And like, I mean, it's changed since back then. Though, like a lot of the people are gone or just grew up or whatever, just stopped doing it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I'm pretty well in it forever. Like I'm not gonna.
It's interesting talking about the city, City Hall and how people view certain things, the optics. Some of it matters, some of it doesn't. Politics, exactly. Jesse, I worked with you on coordinating a partnership with a real estate developer. They commissioned you to do some art for one of their buildings, Terraces on 7th, and you did some amazing art there. How did that feel, just being, starting off doodling and then going to the graffiti, moving through, then you're starting your education, and then a real estate developer wants you to put a permanent art piece outside their building. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it was amazing. And, it's great to have, those more
people that realize that it's an art form, right?
Yeah, or just to work with like such a important figure, or just somebody that's accomplished so much, right. And she really treated me like a friend kind of thing, and it was really just a really rewarding experience, and all the tenants there were amazing. Took a little while to win some of them over, but once they seen that
They're mostly
I
seniors,
wasn't
I
just
think.
it's a seniors living center, so once they seen that I wasn't just there, just splashing paint on the wall, then they they would slowly, they warmed up to me. So it was great, and a really great experience. So.
He has a really wild style too that he does.
Yeah.
Like one of a kind. I've never seen anyone else do it before.
Yeah.
I don't say how you do it, just for the secret. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff
like
that you've created is really unique. I saw a pair of shoes that you've done.
Yeah.
I think they had owls on them.
Yeah.
Vans. You had taken vans.
Yeah.
And done that. And then I mentioned to you the other day, I saw a piece you had done using bleach.
Yeah. Actually, those vans that I did were done with bleach.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah.
So different forms. So how do you come up with these these ideas for expressing this art?
I mean, the bleach thing. A good friend of mine just showed me one day, and he's just like, "You're it's just like you're painting on a canvas."
Right.
So I tried it and realized that you can have a lot of control with it, and then you can just kind of, you can have different levels of bleach to water, because you water down the bleach so it doesn't just eat through the shirt, and then you can paint with layers and do layers, so it gets a little brighter each time you paint it.
Cool.
But yeah, I just try and experiment with different things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But
can people commission you to do work? Can people call you up and say, I want to, is it possible for you to make this for me? Or do you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just showing Smokey, I did a hoodie of Coolio actually, and he's wearing a Canucks jersey, and he's throwing up the west side, and that particular client of mine is a good friend of mine, and he's commissioned 6 or 7 of those different, it's 90s rappers wearing Canucks jerseys, and so that's just an example of some of the work I do.
Yeah.
It's better to hit me up in the winter though, because summertime I'm
Out on the walls.
spray painting.
So how about your guys' dynamic together? Do you ever do graffiti together?
We have in the same spot lots of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we're gonna start. I'd like to get we're gonna get started other jobs that come our way, right? Because now that Ashtree's passed away too, not even that's just that, but I mean because I've always really liked his art, right? And I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna meet this guy, because I honestly think that he's gonna be somebody, right? Well, he is already, but I mean above the rest, right? And that's why I think it'd be great if him and I could do things together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ashtray and that used to do all the letters for me and stuff like that, and everything else, and then the one even across the street that we did together.
Yeah.
I did Ashtray, and he did the dog and everything, and then the land back thing even in that.
Yeah. I remember I came up on you at, I don't know if it was the Chelsea Poor Man one.
Oh yeah.
But one of those, and I totally, me, you, and Trey knocked that one out. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How does it feel to hear him say that? He obviously has a respect for what you do.
It's amazing, and he's told me that mad times, and I appreciate it. And for sure. No, coming from a legend like him, it's pretty next level compliment. So
So if you need jobs, get a hold of us.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I want to talk for a second about something that is very important to me, and that is the crisis of the toxic supply. Some people just believe because it's not as much in the news nowadays that this problem is gone.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Or that's wrong.
No, it's okay. We're not a PG
It's totally
podcast.
ridiculous, man. It's worse than it's ever been. The numbers are higher than ever. I think it's something 220 people a month die or something like that.
Cheers.
Yeah,
So what's happening down here? What do you feel, Smokey's happening with this supply? People are feeling too safe.
It's getting taken apart. It's all the stuff they're putting in there, all the stuff they're giving people safe supplies and all that stuff. They're ripping everyone out of that now. So now they got all these people wired on all these safe supply pills and everything else. Now they're taking them all away. And they're taking away, and now they're trying to crush all the OPS places and stuff like that too. They're trying to yank everything. And across Canada, they've been just putting it all the halt and this stuff too. And they're doing that when it's getting worse now. And not it's not just like fentanyl and that now, it's like trank and all this other crazy shit.
Yeah.
Where you like one token, you're dead and stuff like that. Like, and like people that make it looks like crack and then they smoke it like cross contamination. We say like someone smokes it in a pipe and then the other person doesn't know, and they only smoke speed or something. They don't do like trank or anything. They might pick up a pipe and smoke it and then dead like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So see that commonly, and then like so many people now die. Like it's we had Memorial Mondays every week at ops where there'd be somebody that passed away that we know, and sometimes we have 3 people in one day and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like not a joke, and it's like worse than ever. And I mean, there's very few people even left, man. Like since I've been down here,
Yeah.
very, very few. Like there's some positive people that have gotten out of here and left or whatever, but I mean, like still in the heart of it and right like in the trenches of it, like me, there's very few people left, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I try not with myself. Like I'm pretty casual about it. Like I'm a lot more wiser about it, and I take breaks and that. You know what I mean? So I'm not full on like 24/7 or anything. I do safe supply stuff like methadone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To stay out of it. But plus I'm just not as I guess you get older and at one time and you just don't do. I don't party as much as I used to, but I'm still right seat every day, right? No matter where I go, because I live right down here.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's a lot of people that pass away on a daily basis. It's crazy. And it's all like people like the same thing, like, because Ashtray, before he died, he was a coroner guy, right? You know that, right?
Like the coroner.
Well, yeah, he was a guy that, like, not a coroner per se, but he was like a guy that would collect the bodies up and then bring them to the morgue.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what his job was before he passed away.
I didn't know that.
Right up to when he passed away, he had like, he worked like 24 hours a day, like, they call them like 3 in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever, and you'd have to go get these people that had passed away, not just from drugs, people that die like walking in the car, they have a heart attack, you know, like everything, right? Like, and that was his job for about, I don't know, 8 months or something. Yeah, and that's what and he'd say, oh, I do this today, and I was like, well, what's it like? Like, are you okay, man? And he's like, yeah. It didn't faze him at all, but like myself, I don't know if I could do that. Right? You're a special person to be able to do that, you know?
I've always had a problem with the idea that those who are using substances are in this box. They're these types of people, are those types of people. I myself am in long-term recovery. I was a functioning, until I didn't function anymore, substance user and business owner at the same time. And it's not just in the downtown Eastside, as we all know. It's in neighborhoods all across Canada and all across North America. So this is a problem that I think we have to keep discussing, because people of all ages, stages, backgrounds, races, cultures, income levels, professions are using substances, and if we don't have options that can support them via safe supply and harm reduction, we are going to continue to see lives lost. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Something's got to change, but you don't know what. It's like $1 million question, you know?
No doubt.
They can put Band-Aids on things or whatever they might do, but they don't ever really come across with the full thing. But at the same time, you got to see, like, they do have a lot of programs out there, more than more than anywhere else in the world. This place has more like places to do it, like safe supplies, all that kind of thing. Here we're like 10 years ahead of a lot of places. In America, they have nothing like this. They have, like, this is like the city of dope. This place, like, I mean, they don't have any like OPSs or anything else in the States. They have nothing like that. They can't get needles places and that.
Yes, US is
like way ahead of places when it comes like that. Like, that's why they call like Hastings the worst place in the world and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm like, what, you know? But I guess it is like far ahead of. We don't see people doing dope on the street and that. Like here, then people just hanging out, you know, getting high on the street. Other places, like, it's all behind doors and stuff like it. But here, it's just right in the open. And
but isn't that crazy that we're so much more ahead and still we're seeing that many deaths?
Yeah.
I mean, what does that say? I mean, you know what I mean? It's sad. It's just exactly it is. It's politics. I want to kind of end on a couple of notes related to kind of, you know, solutions and positivity in, you know, times when it's easy to be very discouraged and upset and angry. And that is that I think that art, the way that both of you do it, is, well, for me anyway, when I see it, I think of it as hope, inspiration. I think of it as a little bit of therapy. How do you each use it? Is it therapeutic, self-therapeutic in any way when you're going through something, like when you did the mural for Trey or others?
I go. I like wake up in the middle of the night sometimes at like 3 o'clock in the morning and grab my backpack and I go out and do it all night long by myself and that, just like doing the wild paintings and that. And people are like, "Wow, you're that guy," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know." And they're like, "Oh, I've never seen someone do it before," you know, like. And I'll just be out in the middle of the night doing it, and no one ever messes with me or nothing. But always, a lot of people are like, "Wow, man, I've seen your art for years. I was wondering who you were and stuff." You know? Like I'm talking like young kids, like young people, old people, like 70-year-old ladies and stuff, and like hillbilly guys and rapper guys and everything. You know, it's just a wild, big, like broad sort of different kinds of people and ages and everything. You know. And thank you very much for saying the hope thing, and that's the way I look at it too. Is and it's for me it helps a lot too. You know? And Ashley said the same thing. It helped him stay out of trouble too. Punk rock for him, like being a singer, and like he was that made him like an arch alcoholic and a drug user and that. But he said graffiti was what helped keep him clean as well, right?
Yeah.
And he was well known for it, right? You know.
And you, Jesse, do you think any type of it's kind of self-therapeutic for you in any way?
Oh, for sure. You get in the zone when you're painting and you just like think about so much stuff. And like the whole time I was painting Trey, I was thinking like all the memories that I had of him and all the conversations and but the whole time I was painting, I just felt like he was going to come around the corner and, "Hey, Jesse, what do you need?" Or he used to call me Muskwa, actually, so that's what
What did he call you?
Muskwa, and that's what I sign my paintings with. It means bear in Cree.
Overalls with the big coat.
Yeah. He'd just be like geared up, all this stuff, carrying all these supplies. Jesse, what do you need? Some water? But I when I'm painting, it's usually just like thinking. I'm just like zoned out, thinking about.
You're on your own world for sure.
And very therapeutic.
Very photogenic, photorealism. You're right, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, very deep.
There's a lot of things that I love to chat with you two about, but I can't keep you here all day, and I'm humbled that you joined me. I'm really honored. I have a lot of respect for both of you.
Yeah.
It's a great duo. I think that the two of you make a good duo. So I hope that maybe you'll do some work together soon.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming up.
That's pretty cool. I always ask guests at the end of episodes if they have any local nonprofit that they like or that they support that they want to mention. If not, that's fine. But if there's a nonprofit that you support that you want to mention, please do, and I'll make sure to link to it with the podcast.
OPS.
I was going to say Overdose Prevention Society.
It's a hub here where they give out the food bank stuff and that. And then we got art. I got an art class thing. Sometimes remember?
Yeah.
I got my art class. And,
at the
I worked at Emily Carr last year, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I helped be a professor or whatever in a class about graffiti.
Professor Smokey.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It was first graffiti class in all of Canada and stuff.
Wow.
Like that. Second in the whole world. They had the first one in New York, I guess, and then the second one was here at Emily Carr, which is a pretty prestigious school and stuff like that at university.
Trey did that too, didn't he?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
He came there once or twice and saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was in there full time with the guy. I thought you came once, didn't you?
No, I didn't make it to that. That was Garnet, right?
Yeah. So he was like the 10-year art teacher there, and then I was like the street side of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And facilitated it. It was really cool, man.
So I'd say Overdose Prevention Society, Food Bank.
Yeah, and what else is there out there?
I'd say for me it'd be Access Employment. They put me through school, and
Access is awesome.
if you're Indigenous youth that you don't really have a direction in life, or you don't know where you want to go, I'd say go talk to the people at Access, because they'll help you out. And they've not only put me through school, but I'm working on my 3rd mural for that organization. It's halfway done right now.
You just working with some youth, some Access youth.
Yeah, and like all of them have been workshops, so they're bringing in kids to learn how to spray paint. And, so you know, they've really helped me out a lot. So
Awesome.
Access.
Okay. Thank you so much. Today I've been, like I said, honored to sit down in person today with Jesse Gouchey, who is the co-founder of Miska Creative Society and an artist of all kinds. Please check out Jesse. I'll link to Miska Creative Society and his social handles. Also, Smokey D, advocate and graffiti legend here in Vancouver. It's been really cool having them sitting down together and having this conversation. It's really special to me. I hope you all enjoy it, and thanks for joining me. Be well, stay safe.
Be kind and truly connect. You're listening to Rachel Thexton Connects.
Word.